Welcome to the Growth Lab, where business ambition meets motherhood. I'm Luba, a mom of three, a self-made millionaire, speech language pathologist, and founder of 2 clinics in sensory play gyms and a mobile therapy bus unit. Join me each week as we dive into what it takes to grow successful business, balance family, and create real impact. I'll share my hard-won insights and bring on inspiring entrepreneurs with stories you won't want to miss. Let's turn dreams into action, build with purpose, and thrive on our own terms. Welcome to the Growth Lab. Let's build, scale, and thrive together. Let's get this party started. Welcome back to the Growth Lab. Today, we have such an exciting day. We are speaking to this beautiful lady. Her name is Rose Davidov. And if you haven't heard of her yet, tune in, because I'm about to tell you all about her. And she has a lot of very, very exciting things to share with us. So a little bit about Rose. Rose is an inspiring and powerful woman, a neuro linguistics expert with a passion for floral designing, a mindset mentor, and a mom of three who traded in the corporate grind for freedom, fulfillment, and purpose. Rose broke free from the corporate lifestyle and is now teaching women how to rewire their beliefs, reclaim their time, and create a life they actually love. She intertwines floral design and soil work to educate how the mind works and how to create beauty in your life. So if you've ever felt stuck in the wrong chapter or wondered how to start over, this one's going to hit deep. So let's dive in. Welcome, Rose.
Oh
Hi.
my goodness, it is so exciting to be part of this podcast. I'm so excited to be talking to you. Um, this is just wonderful. You've said so much about me. I don't even think I need to dive in anymore.
Oh my gosh, girl, you're doing so much. You're such a great person to have on the Growth Lab because I think that you encompass everything about people growing in life, growing in business, growing in their family. So, why don't we talk a little bit and rewind to your life, your start. Tell us, where you come from and how things led to where you are today, but the early part.
My goodness, I don't even know where to start. To be honest, this past year and a half, a little bit longer than that, has literally shaken me up to the core. So much has happened. There were times of loss and confusion and not knowing what to do, where to go, what to turn to. I have a background in accounting. I have my master's. I was a controller. I worked for 20 years in the corporate world. And I don't think I would have had the guts to ever leave, ever. I've just kind of stuck it out. Um, and something happened. I think there was just divine intervention where I lost my job. And it was something that I would never have expected, never have believed the way things have turned out. But I knew that it was such a heartbreaking experience for me that I decided that I don't think I'm ever going back to the corporate world. This isn't just something, it just felt very intuitively. I kind of knew that that's the last job, that's the last corporate role I'm ever going to have. Where I'm going to go after this, I have no idea, but it's going to lead me somewhere.
Wow. So
So,
that time when you were in corporate, were you
mhm.
ever like on the side looking at other jobs, or you were just in there and then this kind of spiraled when you lost the job?
No, I was on the side looking at myself.
Okay.
It felt like I'm watching a movie scene. It felt like I'm an actor in a movie where I'm putting on a business suit every single day, going to work and not understanding who this person is. I really don't know who she is. I'm just following the grind, doing what I've been taught to do. I've invested so much time and effort and years into this, so I just have to stick it out. And then something like this happened. So, a moment that has changed everything for me is when I went into the parking lot and I was crying like crazy. And a friend of mine, instead of consoling me and saying, "So, where are you going to go from here? What are you going to do?" She started clapping for me. And she said, "Congratulations, you're finally on the right path." And she had this biggest smile on her face. And I just stared at her like, "What?" She said, "You're finally on the right path." And I just, those words, they stuck to me. So I feel like at that moment, God really sent me an angel, just letting me know that, you're going to move somewhere and you have no idea what your path entails. So I realized that when something difficult and challenging happens in our life, it's there to reroute us. We shouldn't jump to conclusions, to being sad and grieving over it, but just kind of like come back to yourself and think of, what is this trying to teach me? Where am I supposed to be going?
My gosh, I'm very spiritual and I always believe in the bigger message. And I hope if there is people out there listening and they're stuck or they're upset because they think that maybe something that wasn't expected happened and they're like, now what? That's your opportunity. So and get in tune with what you want and maybe you'll be like Rose. So I mean, that seems to have been this breaking point for you where you were like, okay, I'm not going back. I'm gonna do something else. So then what did you so then
But
what did you
at the same time, logics hit, and I'm like, I need to find a job. No, I have to find a job. No,
you have
this is not
children? How are
realistic.
you
What do
gonna
you mean? I have a family, I have kids. So I jumped back into searching for a job, and every time I would get an interview last minute, it would get canceled and canceled and canceled. And I
oh my
just
gosh.
kind of like laughed to myself and said, God, you have a sense of humor. Something has to happen, and I'm going to follow it. All of a sudden, I get a call from a very close friend I used to go to high school with, and we haven't, kept in contact for over 20 years. And she said to me that she's recently we were chatting about spirituality and her new path and how she's transitioning her life. And she said to me, I recently had a regression session. And I said, oh my God, I've always wanted to try that. A regression is when you're basically under hypnotherapy and you're seeing your past lives or connecting to your soul, to your journey. So, long story short, I decided to try it. And after I've tried it once, it has completely flipped my life upside down. And then I tried it again, and then I tried it again. And I think I've seen about maybe 4 or 5 past lives. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I'm going to see or how this is going to work. Each session lasted about 3 hours. So I was under deep hypnosis, connected to my soul, letting go of the logics. And in all of my past lives that I've seen, there was just one common thing: flowers, fields and fields of flowers, and that I was helping people heal. I saw myself as a young girl trying to get away from the world. I didn't agree with the world we're living in. I didn't agree with the war. I didn't agree with the way people see love and life. I couldn't connect to it. So as a young girl, I would escape to like a flower farm that I would create, and I would see trees and flowers and butterflies and so much beauty. And then I also saw people coming to me that lost family members in the war. And they would sit with me in these gardens and they would just cry to me. So this was kind of like a common
These
theme.
are very vivid. Like this is so it's a super deep
Yes,
experience. And it's called a regression.
it's called a regression, and it's when you are under hypnosis.
Okay.
And hypnosis, you're awake the whole time.
Okay.
You're just basically, you're
And are
covered
you
up.
like laying or sitting? Tell us a little bit because I think this is a new term for me and definitely for a lot of our listeners. So, talk a little bit about what this is and if who might be a candidate for this.
So regression is it's like hypnotherapy. So you're basically in a comfortable position in your bed with blankets over you, and you have something covering your eyes. So the reason why we cover our eyes is because we want to block out the logical mind and we want to go inwards. So they go through about 45 minutes of meditation. They guide you through, a flower field, a forest, a beach, or something like that until you just get so relaxed and so in tuned. And then at some point, they say, what do you see? Oh, I see this. And what else do you see? Oh, I see this. And where are you going? And I'm going here and I'm going there. And that's how basically, no one is controlling you, no one is grabbing hold of you. You're just in a relaxed state of mind and you're starting to remember things. So another common theme is I saw a few people that I've recognized in my current life, but them holding a different role in my other lives. I saw a person that's, I call her my soulmate. She's traveled many, many, many lifetimes with me. And I've always felt it, but this kind of, made it even more clearer. I saw in one of my regressions that we both chose to be here. We both chose to do something different to help people. So after you see something like this, you're just not the same. It makes you think a lot.
And I
It makes
think this is it gives you like a true sense of clarity, especially if you're tangled up and you're not sure where you're going next. Is there how many times can you do this? And as many as you want?
I've done it.
Is
I
there
would
a
say
rule to this?
if there are rules, there's people that do this all the time and that see, 20, 30 past lives. I wouldn't want to, because some of them are really heartbreaking. And I have seen some that are really heartbreaking, and I don't want to see them again. So I kind of stick to the positive, what I grabbed out of them, what I was able to pick up for myself. And I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going to do it again, but I do it for other people. And the resources they get are really interesting. There's a lot of very fascinating stories, a lot of fascinating stories. Um,
Is this regression under hypnosis part of what we're going to call, and if you guys hear us saying NLP, that is the short term for neuro linguistic programming, which is the certificate you hold.
yes.
So, is this part of that, or tell us a little bit about how the two work together, if they're together?
They're kind of intertwined because both of them work with the soul. Both of them work with the subconscious. Linguistics programming is basically neuro. It's the study of your mind and your brain, and the way that it dictates and guides your habits and how you live your life. So I like to, reframe it as a lost remote control for your mind. We're walking around with this search engine, and it's like a Google search engine, and we have no idea how to use it. And we're constantly pulled between the heart and the mind, the heart and the mind, but we don't realize what each one is. So through divine intervention, after my regression sessions, I realized that I need to do something with beauty, which is like something flowers or creative, and therapy. Beauty and therapy, beauty and therapy. So I've tried a lot of different things, and I was led to neurolinguistics, NLP. I've taken my first class, and after that first class, which lasted 3 days, I left and I was just like, I'm like, my God, I have slept through my entire life. I have been sleepwalking through my entire life. I understood what the mind is. I understood how it's intertwined with our spiritual journey, how it's connected to energy. It just made so much sense for me that I decided to go all in. And it's been the most radical journey. I literally walk around wanting to shake people up and say, wake up, wake up. There's so much more.
So, how can NLP change someone's life? Maybe there's an example. Um, I don't know. I don't know that much about it. So, what I'm gathering is that it helps you tap into your deep self, like your true
Mhm.
meaning
Yes.
based on, I guess, the past lives you've lived, the person that you are.
Mhm.
It allows, if you're interested, you to kind of get inside so that you can be the better you. Is that a
Correct.
good way to explain it?
Correct. Correct. So regression and NLP, they're kind of two different things. They intertwine because they're both connected to the soul, but NLP doesn't have to be, for people that are not interested in regression. So basically, there's two things. And this is, if there's anything that I educate that I want people to get out of this, is the difference between your mind and your soul. Your subconscious, which is your heart, and your soul, and your database of everything that you are, and your logical mind, which is the conscious mind. I don't know if you've ever heard the terminology conscious and subconscious.
Yes, I
Okay,
have, but maybe someone doesn't know.
some
So,
people have not. So the conscious mind is your logical mind. It is your head. It is there to navigate your life. It is there to be very, very logical. It needs data, scientific data for everything. It's there to keep you completely safe. It wants you to be safe. Therefore, it keeps you in your comfort zone. It's your soul, it's your spirit, it's your connection to God. Um, and it's your database, Luba, of all the experiences that you've ever had in this lifetime and in many other lifetimes. For people that believe in reincarnation. Do you believe in reincarnation? What's your
do. I
stance
do.
on it? Okay.
I can't
So I'm
point like an example, but in my understanding of spirit and afterlife, I do believe in reincarnation.
okay. So the way I understood and it solidified my belief is if you take off all your clothes, what's underneath? Skin. If you take away all the skin, what's under the skin? And it's the bones. And if you take away the bones, what's under the bones? It's the flesh and the blood and the water and all that stuff. And if you take away the flesh and the blood and the water, what's in there? DNA and cells.
DNA. Okay, yeah.
And if you take away the DNA and cells, what's inside of them?
Oh
Energy.
wow, like this is like deep in there.
Yes. So it's
It breaks
energy.
down.
And
Wow.
energy does not go anywhere. It just changes form. It just changes form. So that's how I believe that our soul is energy and it's constantly changing form. It's bouncing from one, lesson to another, one lifetime to another. So your soul is your database. It's all your experiences. Like, have you ever felt like I'm afraid to fly? I've always been afraid to fly. I have no idea why it's happening, but I'm just afraid. And people have those fears. And it's because something happened to you, maybe as a child or maybe in one of your past lives. And that energy you brought with you that needs to be resolved. So basically, your logical mind is only capable of doing 4 to 7 tasks at a time.
So many.
Many.
I-
It processes only 126 bits of information per second.
Wow.
126. Your subconscious mind processes billions of information per second. It's absolutely crazy, but we walk around in our life not listening to our subconscious. We listen to our logics, which is only 126 bits of information. So when you think about those two things, you realize that you need to you need to find a balance between disconnecting from the mind and really going inside because you're inside, your gut feelings, they know everything about you, everything, and we don't listen to it. And that's where there's anxiety and there's depression and there's heartache and there's sadness because your soul is screaming out, listen to me, and your mind is saying no.
Why do you think, is it because of the pace of life, or people find themselves in situations where they're like, well, if I do X differently, like why aren't we listening? Why aren't we?
Because number one, we're not taught. And number two, we have been, since the day that you were in your mom's belly as a little tiny seed, you have been already, first of all, you've taken on her energetic DNA level. Second of all, you're carrying the energetic level of your ancestors and your grandparents and your whole lineage. And third of all, you're already programmed to the community you'll be born in, what sex you are, what religion you are, where you're going to live, how you're going to be, who you're going to be as a child, what grades you're going to get, who you're going to be as a mother. You need to get married, you need to have kids, you need to have a family. This is the kind of job you're going to have. These are your rules, even before you came into this world. So as soon as you arrive, you're programmed in your mind, you're taking all that information in and you lose yourself. You see, like kids, they completely lose their spark and creativity and their, just a spunk for life when they turn about 11, 12 years old, 10, 11, 12. And that's because that's when they start to subconsciously understand, all this programming that's put into them. And they get disconnected from who they truly are.
It's really insane because even now, and I have a very deep connection with my kids, and there's many people that tell me I'm insane because they'll be like, they're kids, they have to go to school and they have to do this and they have to do that and they have to do that. And sometimes my kids will come to me and I'm just like a guilty as a mom and mom entrepreneur. I have so much guilt if I'm working and not spending enough time with my kids, guilt if I'm spending time with the family and I'm not doing something for work. There's always this like overwhelming guilt for some reason. And I
The
have
push and pull, the push and
because
pull.
I feel like, well, I'm working, it's benefiting my family, myself. But they need me too. And there's so many days where I'm like, I wish I just didn't work and all I did was this, but that's just not what I'm made for.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, when my kids come to me, and my oldest is about to be 9, and my daughter is 7, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a three and a half
Okay.
year old. They're so, and they're emotionally intelligent, but they're just
Mm-hmm.
so in tune already because they'll be like, Mom, I like school, but it's so hard. I'm bored because I have to sit all day
Mm-hmm.
and I have to do this, and I just feel, and I start to feel like
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, okay, and here's my subconscious myself, okay, this child needs to be pulled out and doing some other type of program because I can see that it's detrimental to this child to be there
Yep.
every and and then I'm looked at like a crazy person. It's not because I
Mm-hmm.
feel bad or I'm coddling my child. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
tune enough, but to hear that
Yeah.
most people will tell me I'm insane. Are you crazy? That's where they should be. They have to do that. They have to. What happened to listening to your heart, listening to your mind, listening to that scream?
Yeah.
This is a person telling me. And I get
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, nobody wants to wake up early. I don't want to even wake up early to get them to the bus and stuff.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if they're already at this young time saying to
Yep.
me, this feels off,
Yep.
I'm not the thriving or whatever,
Yep.
we're continuing to push them. So how can we help our society? I'm not saying my way is right. And yes, all my kids still go to school and will. But do I think that? Yes, all the time. And I'm like, are they not in the right place? Is that not the right education for them? And as a parent and someone who does see a bigger picture very often, I need
Yeah.
to ground myself from those thoughts. So am I doing myself a disservice based on what you're telling me? I feel like I am.
Well, what I would say is be honest with your kids
Yeah.
because they are very, very, they sound like they're very emotionally intelligent
Yeah. They
and they're
come from
very,
me. I guess they are.
you're their mother. You're their mother. And they are connected to their soul. So why would you want to strip them from that?
And I don't. And I don't.
And it's okay because I find myself living in a very robotic world.
Yeah.
And some people, they just can't wake up. But we have to use our voice to speak up and to educate and to shake people up because they have no idea that there's more to life out there. And unfortunately, situations like school, I tell my kids, I know that you guys are bored. I completely understand. I don't agree with the educational system at all. I think it's there to take away all the creativity and everything out of kids, the imagination, the creativity. It's like
It's an
teaching,
old structure.
it's a very old structure. It's like teaching a monkey and an elephant to climb a tree. But everybody is different, everybody has different, but we can't we can't control that, Luba. So the only thing you can say is, I understand, I feel you, do the best you can. But at the same time, I love when my kids ask me those kind of questions because they know that they connect with me and I don't try to shut them down. Yeah, I know. I agree what you're feeling. Let's come up with an after school activity that you love. Like for example, my daughter, Audrey, she's 9 years old, and she loves to draw. She's an incredible drawer. So she started taking art classes. I'm like, Audrey, you're going to art classes. In her first class, the teacher's like, wow, this is amazing. And I said, let's move her up. So she's 9 years old. She's taking art classes with 17-year-olds.
My gosh. She's so
I
talented. I would love to see her work.
Yeah, and the teacher's like, this is too old for her. And I said, no, push her there because my child is talented. I know what she has going for her.
See? Yeah.
So,
So I guess your suggestion is utilizing that power of giving them what you know they can have, they're capable of, in the measure you can manage,
Yes.
what you can control. Obviously,
You
everything
know
is
best.
possible. You know
You
best.
know best. You're the mom, not
Yeah,
the world around you,
yeah.
not the aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends and family and everybody else and the whole world around you. No, you're the mom. So you have to connect with your child and tell them the truth. You know, I teach my kids like don't be followers and don't be leaders, but be thinkers. Be deep thinkers.
Yep.
You know, don't just lead, don't follow, but deeply think of what makes sense to you because you're living this life and you have a right to question it. You have a right to question what works for you and what doesn't. So,
See, I think a lot of people aren't taught that because
yeah.
life is set up, especially in the United States,
Yep.
in a very uniform fashion. Like and there's so many pictures and articles about this online if anybody wants to dive in, but it's literally it shows you like
Hmm.
unfortunately a jail cafeteria and an elementary school cafeteria, and it's a very similar, like uncanny. They look alike, so much alike. So
Exactly.
it's a systematic approach, and maybe eventually we'll break the bounds. But this is a great transition into my next question for you, which is what
Okay.
are some common blocks that you see in women,
Oh
especially
man.
moms, and how can you help them break through?
So I've seen a lot of women that come to me and they wake up starting from the age of 40
Oh,
and
jeez.
after. This is the wake up because, you know, like especially me, like I came from a very traditional family. I was told like this is what I need to do. And I did all that. Check mark, check mark, check mark.
And then you're like, and now what?
And now what? And now like when your kids get a little bit bigger, your soul starts to like knock, 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 knock. And you're like, I'm too busy. I can't think about this right now. Wait, knock, knock. And then it keeps nudging you and nudging you and nudging you till you're like, I have no place to go. I have to resolve this. So I think that's the common thing when women, they're like, I have a good marriage. I have a house. I have amazing kids. I have great friends, but I am not happy. I am sad. I'm depressed. Okay, what makes you sad and depressed? I don't like my career. Okay, so let's, what I love about NLP is my job is to shake people up. Like when you have a situation, we're not allowed to use the word problem. We're only allowed to use the word challenge to bring power back to you. When you're in a situation, you're stuck in that box of a challenge and you can't see out of it. So my job is to reframe that box and work around it. How to shake you up and get you out of it. And it doesn't mean quit your job. It doesn't mean move to a different country. It means create the life you want that's true to yourself around it. Around it. Invest in yourself. Really think about who you are, what you're all about. Get to know yourself. Shake up in my life is a friend said to me, Rose, how are you ever going to heal if you don't know who you are? What do you mean I don't know who I
Yeah,
am?
you're like, what do you
I
mean?
know who I am. That's your ego. That's not who you are. That's who you've been taught to be. I'm like, stop it. I got offended. I got offended. But that comment kept coming back to me. And one day on a very long ride to see my family in New York, I was like, okay, let me just deal with this so it leaves me alone. And Luba, like 100 things started popping up on paper. And I'm like, this is a stranger. I never knew this
Is
person.
this how did you use some kind of questionnaire to
No.
like understand, well, do I know myself, or how did you formulate that? How did you come to that?
Who is Rose? Who is Rose? And then I started writing down my good qualities. And then I started writing down not good qualities, things that I want to work with, things that I want to change about myself. And then I realized, holy moly, if only I knew this person back then, I wouldn't have the same friendships. I wouldn't have the same, any kind of like relationships, friendships, whatever that I had. I wouldn't surround myself around specific crowds or the jobs that I took. All of that happened because I had no idea who I was. And now that I know, I am so aligned with what is best for me and what I am meant to do here on this earth, that you become indestructible. Nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can change your mind. Nobody can convince you, because you're so aligned. You're like, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
So it just
And
becomes a
I've
very
known you for some
powerful.
time. Like you're not a new face for me. And I have to say, you are always stunning and you're always like very well spoken. Telling me this, I swear I can like your happiness is coming through your pores, girl. So whatever it is that you came to, I'm thrilled for you. And if there's more people you can help to get that, please, I think that this is definitely your life calling.
I do have to say something to you that I think will change the way you perceive motherhood.
Okay.
So a lot of women come to me and I give them a questionnaire. What is your biggest fear? To lose or something happening to my family? And I flip that around on them. And I'm like, what about something happening to you? And
I'm
they're like,
literally already crying. Do you see how emotionally touched I am about
oh. And do
crying?
you know why? Do you know why I asked that question? Because we're always worried about our kids, right? Like that's like my biggest fear. Like God forbid, God
No,
forbid.
of course.
But what about if your kids lose their mother?
I think about that stuff. It freaks me the hell out.
You have to, your job is to be healthy, is to be strong, is to be happy
Of
because
course.
your kids need you so much. Your kids need you. And it's not about like what happens to them, but what about like no one's going to love my kids the way I will. So I have to make sure that I'm happy and I can guide them and I can lead them and I can mother them the way they deserve,
Right.
you know?
That's that's touching for me.
Yes,
And
yes.
actually, I wanted to ask that of you. Like, how
Hmm.
did becoming a mom, and early on, I know you had a different perspective of things, but how did becoming a mom shift your perspective of success and self-worth and freedom versus what you know today? Is there a big shift in your mentality towards those things now? Or
Huge.
you always internally already had this perspective? Speak a little
No,
bit about that.
huge. This is kind of a cliche when you say, what do they call it? Generational, like I'm gonna break generational patterns. Oh, it's such a cliche, like you hear it all the time. But there are certain things that I strongly, strongly disagreed with. I want to be able to, in order for my kids to learn, I have to show them, and they learn not by me talking, but by me actually showing it to them.
Actions.
Actions, right? So my daughter, she's like, she walks around in school and she's like, my mom does this. And I have a business with my mom and we write kids books together and we do workshops and my mom is this and my mom and I'm teaching her to follow her dreams, not to be programmed because someone else is, telling you to choose a career, to choose the lifestyle that you want. See if it makes sense for you and make your life beautiful. You are in control, in power to, this is how I do it with flowers. I incorporate how to beautify your life through flowers. Your life is a work of art. Your journey is personal, not between you and your husband, you and your kids, you and your friends, between you, yourself, your soul, and God. And you have to, it's yours. It's such a divine gift. So make it beautiful. Don't settle for something that someone has taught you to do.
Yes.
Unless you love it, which is great.
Right.
But if you don't like it, you don't need to accept it. Work around it.
I think that from any age, childhood to adulthood, it's really about allowing yourself the experience and
Hmm.
to learn. But how does the tie in, and that's where the love of what you want comes from. That was the point of what I was
I
saying.
will give you a secret. I will give you a huge secret that will change your life and hopefully people that are listening. So people come to me and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Close your eyes.
Right,
Who were you as a child?
right.
What did you like to do? And she's like, I loved to. I loved sports. Okay. She's like, I used to always love giving people advice. I would be the one that would be like helping kids and this and that. And I'm like, well, those are your talents. That's your footprint that God gave you. Create that into your livelihood. So one woman, she's like, maybe I should help people. Maybe I should use my voice to help others. They were just like random things. Like, I don't know. For me, my example is um, I used to always love to write. I would like be a phenomenal. I sucked in school and math. I would get failing grades, but like writing was like my forte. And I stopped for a really long time. And now I just published 2 books. Excited. I'm part of like a book
Congratulations.
collaboration. Thank you so much. Um, Another thing is I used to stutter heavily till I was like 20 years old. And now I'm going back to that and I'm now using my voice to give other people their voice back.
By the way, people come to me for speech therapy for stuttering all the time. And I'm like, this is a neurological situation.
Oh yeah,
Yet, in my presence, I want to say 70% of those kids never stutter one time. Isn't that crazy? So they
there
come
you
to
go.
me now. So just to touch on that. So
That's
again, it's
incredible.
also here when they're
Yes,
at home or at school and they're in those situations where they're nervous or there's
yes,
a change or a shift in the atmosphere where they are or there's somebody sick in their family or God forbid a divorce. Like there's so many things.
yes.
That's when that nervous, it's a neurological thing. It's here.
It's
So
here.
it's
It's all in the
not
mind.
it's not like I can put the sound.
No.
It's stuttering. So people are
Yes.
like, I don't understand. So it's really it's digging deep and figuring
Yep.
out when that sparking of it comes. It's a
Yep.
pattern. And it's
Yes.
when they're nervous or something's wrong is when that stutter will return most of the time when it's a mild case. But that's a different topic I just wanted to bring up.
Absolutely.
So it's so
Absolutely.
interesting that you bring that up
Absolutely.
because maybe you
Yep.
had something going on.
I got really scared when I was like 5 years old. And it wasn't just a stutter. It was like I could not say a word without saying
Oh
it,
no.
without stuttering. Like
How
it
I'm
was
with you.
really bad. And I was a lonely kid, very strict parents, and I used to sing all the time. So the doctor said singing through time kind of like stretched my voice. Um, so you asked me about like motherhood, and this
Yes.
brings me back to this again. We as mothers are the only ones that know the talents and the gifts that our kids are born with. And it is our job to guide them to explore those talents and to build a life out of it. Like my son, since he was, I don't know, 2 years old, he was a master at Legos. He loved building with his hands. Like for him, I wouldn't push him to become a doctor. I would say, you're so good with your hands, maybe
Exactly.
engineering or something like that. My middle one, Audrey, she's so nurturing and caring and loving. I'm like, you're not going to be a businesswoman. You're going to be like in the care and love, maybe like nurse or caring for kids that are disabled or something like that. So our job as mothers is to guide our kids because we're the only ones that see the gifts that God gave them.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't shy away from that.
That's that's such a good word of advice because you're right. Like there's so much of what they have to do. So to guide what they are meant to do or what they
Yep,
want to do is so different versus pushing to be good at what they have to do. You know?
exactly. Have them wake up now versus in their 40s
Yeah.
when they're like, I've been doing this my whole life, but I'm just not connected to it and I'm going crazy.
No, that's
So
true.
help them get aligned now versus.
When
Yeah.
are you familiar with human design? Do you know what that is?
No, no, I don't know what that is.
I'm gonna have to put you onto it. You'll like it. It's a
Okay.
test, but it's a numeric test. It has to do with where you're born, the time of your birth, and the day of your birth, and that's a
Okay.
compilation of you. So
Hmm.
for me, and then it has a title. So I'm a manifester,
Oh,
and then the
wow.
entire makeup has like different numbers, and you
Uh-huh.
can look up all of the numbers of your build up, your
Hmm.
human design to understand and guide yourself. Okay, well, I think this way, so I should do this. Oh, I manifest, so I should be doing this. I can't
Yes.
I can give the idea, I can't do all the programming. I can help others, I can't, drive a bus, whatever,
Hmm.
like different things like that. And it really perspectivizes you as a human being. So I don't know if there's an age limit or something, but it gives you a lot of insight into who you are and what you
Hmm.
should be doing, your societal function, really.
That's
Super
incredible.
interesting. So I
Is
think
that
it's
like numerology? Is that
a
numerology?
little bit. I'm not
Okay.
so familiar with it. It's a more like the makeup, so the numeric makeup of you. I'm
Okay.
not exactly sure what numerology is, but you'll
Hmm.
have to teach me what that is.
Oh, it's incredible.
How do you personally stay grounded and inspired while you're guiding others? What tricks or tips or couple, bullets can you offer to us about your own personal ability of staying grounded that could help others?
I go inward. I check in with myself. I check in with myself because now I'm in the process of building two businesses. I have so much going on, running around with three kids, and it's just a lot. I ground myself and I see like if there's a day where I'm just like, this is just too much, I listen to myself because I feel like if you don't listen to your body, if you're not listening to it, it's not going to work. If you want your body to work well, you have to listen to it. So on some days just give yourself a break and just know that you are resilient, you are strong, but your body and your soul needs love too. You are not a robot. Don't feel like you have to do everything because there's so many factors depending on you. Your kids, they love you anyways. They will always love you.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't show up somewhere, they know mom was working hard for them.
Yeah.
Like your mom was always extremely hardworking, right? Did you ever did you ever say, you know, you loved her unconditionally?
And I think also societally, our kids are different. While they are lovely and like respectful or appreciative of
Yes.
what they have, the things we had as immigrant
Yeah.
children and our parents'
Yeah.
lives, I think is a little, there's something to say for that too.
Yes.
But I had a very different understanding of
Mm-hmm.
life generally. And I would like I when you talk about all that digging deep into yourself, I love that stuff. And I'm curious what I would see, but I had a lot of things happen to me in my childhood that built
Yeah.
up who I am today. Obviously, that's how it works. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I never had those feelings towards my parents. I didn't because I just didn't know to think that way. Like my kids have different, I don't know,
I don't think so.
patience
I
and
think
families
love
and
is
their
love.
bosses.
I think they love the attachment kids have to their
My
mother and
kids
their
are obsessed with
parents.
me.
There
If
you
I
go.
don't like go and scratch someone's back at night and someone's left out, I hear about it. I'm like told.
So let me ask you this question before I lose my thought. What you just said to me about different generation, kids,
Yeah.
this, that, is that something that you are saying coming from you? Or did you actually go into one of your kids' mind and pick it up from their thoughts?
I'm not I think it's mine. I think it's
It's you.
mine. It's my
It's not think,
observation.
it's you.
It's
It
my
is.
observation because I I just I think about that. I analyze that stuff sometimes. Like when I was little, like I didn't have half of the stuff my kids had. My parents did everything, so I could have everything.
Yes.
But my parents were came to America in their 30s and
Oh
had
my
two kids.
gosh.
Like I lived here my whole life, so I
Yeah.
had a lot more opportunity to
Right.
where I am today in my 30s versus where they were
Yeah.
with much less and still having to keep up and like give to their kids because we would go to school with other families and we wanted to have what other kids had, but it was never like held against my parents. Like if we couldn't, I don't think that it was. And also it's a characteristic thing. I'm not I even how I conduct business today and how I started working years ago when I was just the only person going out to see kids and families. I'm in a no judgment state. I don't come anywhere with any like preconceived notion, and that's how I've always lived. And it's just
Yes.
stuck with me. As a kid, I didn't see somebody have a bike and come home and be like, they have a better bike. Like I would be like, I don't think this way. So and my kids don't think this way because I don't think this way. So it's
Right.
instilled, but it's 100% generational because today they have a lot and they see what people have. So it's just common human nature to be like, oh, like they had that and I have this. But I didn't think that.
Exactly.
I'm not taught that.
Yep.
That's
But
what I
we,
mean. That's
yes,
what I mean.
yes. But
That,
we have our model of the world. Like you
yeah.
have your model of the world, and your kids have their model of the world. And don't give yourself such a guilt trip because
No.
they're not even thinking about the things you're thinking about.
I think you're right. It's
Their
me. It's
mind is like,
me.
who's picking me up? Where am I having a sleepover? What am I getting as a birthday gift? They're not
But then
thinking
if you
about
didn't pick them up, aren't they like, where were you? My kids are like, why didn't you come? I'm like, it was a ride home. Who cares if it was grandpa or me? Like,
exactly.
so I try to normalize that stuff to be like,
Mm,
hey, the important, more important things, not just a ride. And I read that one time too, because truly spending time with your kids is not shuffling them from activity to activity. It's
no.
the later time, the puzzle, the movie, the
Yeah,
sitting and chatting, dinner. The shuffle is like whatever. You could hire someone, honestly.
exactly.
Being a mom entrepreneur and a mom business owner, it's
Yes.
this piece is hard.
It's
That
not
is hard
easy.
because the
It's not
kids
easy.
are like they also have demands.
Yep.
I was wondering also, do you feel like if there's people who are whether they're in school studying, getting a master's, whatever it is, building
Mhm.
their career, younger people, and I know you said it's definitely don't wait until you're in your later life to wake
Yeah.
up. But does NLP could it be helpful for people who are starting out in a career or at a certain place in a career and want to scale their business? How does it work for people like that who are in a place
Absolutely.
and to go
Absolutely.
higher?
Absolutely. So I do individualized sessions that are basically targeted towards each person's needs, whether they're starting a career, whether they're in a relationship, whether there are some very difficult scenarios that people are trying to figure out in their life. And I do like an intensive 8 hour session where I'm certified to do an 8 hour session where you are going to come out of your situation knowing the answer of what to do.
Oh, that's really awesome.
When people are like in the process of careers and going to college and this and that, I always say, I wish someone told me to go shadow, go find a friend who works in like an accounting field and shadow, spend a few hours in that because that would have saved you so much because you can know about it, but unless you experience it, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
When there's career days at school, like go look at every career, no matter if you don't, when
Yeah.
you go to buy your wedding
Mm.
dress, this may not be applicable to everybody, but you go
It
to get a
is.
dress
It
for
is.
prom, wedding, and you have an idea, and then you leave with a completely different dress. Like career is similar. So much fun
And we
chatting
can
with you,
talk
but I know when to
forever
end.
because I
Um,
love chatting with you. I
I
absolutely
think,
love it.
what is a mindset mantra that you live by?
What is a mindset? Oh, here you go. This was my favorite. To become her, you must first become her.
Oh wow, I like
Yes.
that.
Somebody taught me this in my early NLP class when I was like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. And this person's like looked at me straight in the eyes and said, to become her, you must first become her. So ever since then, I would drive around in my car and say, I help people. I'm a book writer. I'm a public speaker. I'm going to do amazing things for the world. I'm a designer. And Luba, believe it or not, everything came true
Yep,
and so much more.
yep,
You manifest when you trick your mind to believe that you are already that person.
I love that. And
Yes.
are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
And what's one thing? Oh, this is so popular now, telling your younger self. What's one thing you'd tell your younger self?
Be grateful. Be grateful to all the people, places, and things that have ever hurt you
Wow.
because it will take you to exactly who you are meant to be.
Wow.
Yes.
That's deep. That's powerful.
It's easy to say thank you to someone who's done something great, but you're going to be stuck in your comfort zone. But for
Yeah, you never
someone,
want to thank people that do badly upon you, but because of the learning, thank
yes,
you. Oh my God.
especially the difficult jobs, people, friendships, situations, I feel that unless it's like really harsh circumstances, those people that really challenge your soul, I feel like on a spiritual level, you have contracted with them and they are there that took on a very difficult role to get you closer on your soul's journey.
They came for the season and they
They
educated.
came,
Oh my gosh.
and they are the ones that love you the most. It's the most difficult people. It's very difficult on a physical level to have gratitude because you're like, this person did this and that, and how could they? But really think about where you are today and how you got here. It's because somebody kicked your butt. Yep.
So many times in this decade, I would be like, what have I gotten myself into? What have I gotten myself into? But every time you learn, you build, you learn, you build, you learn, you build. And I just tied my boots tighter. I didn't throw them off. I didn't throw them in the trash. And you just keep going. And
Yeah.
you turn that on for yourself because there's no going back now. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Not
Yep.
do what you set out to do. You can't give up.
Exactly. You're not, and people are like, you know, my God, sometimes I'm like, God, I miss the corporate world. Holy crap, I'm
Well,
only
punch in, punch out. And you
punch in,
forgot.
punch out. I don't think about it. But right now, my kids are like, Mom, you're always working. You're always doing this and you're always doing that and you're always
But
networking.
my heart is singing now that I'm always working.
I have no choice if I want to build something out of this. And I have
You're
to.
well
So
on your way, and you're gonna do so amazing.
thank you so
What's
much.
next for you?
Oh my God, the world has opened up so tremendously. Just yesterday, like what happened at a networking event, I'm like, what is happening? Am I even alive? Like, am I in heaven and all of a sudden all this is happening to me? So I'm getting into the senior living facilities.
Amazing.
I'm getting into like I'm hoping to work with autistic kids. I've done that a little bit in the past, infusing NLP with flowers and soil work. So I'm filling in voids. Like if I see there's a void for creativity, like senior living facilities, people that have dementia or Alzheimer's, it's heartbreaking. And, you know, it's just horrible to be in those situations and see like the elderly just, I want to bring life back into it. So that's where my future is right now. Book publishing, going on book tours, um, doing books with my daughter, who's my illustrator.
Turn your world around in such a short time, and it's
It's
really
crazy.
impressive. And
It's crazy.
strap into your boots, girl, because you're going. It's such a pleasure. Tell everybody where they can
Likewise.
find you if they want to email you or find you on Instagram, social media. What's the best way to reach you?
So my phone number.
Be careful, don't give your social away.
Oh my goodness. So my website is journeysinbloom.com. They can find me on Instagram at Message in Your Basket, which is my second company. But they can see all the workshops and everything that I do. Um, and that's pretty much how they find me. So,
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on with me today on the Growth Lab. You're all about the growth of people and
yes.
things, and it's such a pleasure to talk to you. And if anybody
Likewise.
has questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Give us a
Yes.
like, follow, and we'll
Yeah.
see you next time. Thank
See you
you.
next time. But thank you so much. I love this. I'm
So
sending you so
much.
much love and warmth and just wishing you a beautiful day. Thank you for everything.